All right, so we're back with another edition to Exploring Worship here today. And today I want to start by quoting a passage out of Psalms 22, and it's going to be verses 1 through 5. And it says, my God, why have you abandoned me? Why are you so far from my deliverance and from my groanings? My God, I cry by day, but you do not answer. By night, yet I have no rest. But you are holy, enthroned on the praises of Israel. Our ancestors trusted in you. They trusted, and you rescued them. They cried to you and were set free. They trusted in you and were not disgraced. And I really love this passage. I think it really gets to the heart of how we should be in our worship lives. But today I really want to drive home something that to me is really near and dear to our experience when it comes to worship. See, in this passage, we see that David is crying out to God in a time of need, right? Crying, God, I need you, right? But even though he's in a struggle, in the midst of a struggle, he realizes, he said, but you are holy, enthroned upon the praises of Israel. And some translations even would say that he inhabits the praises of Israel. And why is this such a big deal? Well, I believe one of the most undervalued things about worship is that in worship, we get to experience the very presence of God. This is where we go to meet and have communion and fellowship with God. See, for God to be enthroned upon or inhabiting our praises means that his very presence is here with us in our praises. When we are worshiping, God is here with us. So why this is such a big deal, the presence of God is the one way that we can truly experience fellowship here with him. And that ultimately is our eternal purpose, is to be in fellowship with God. But we also see the power of God work through when his presence is manifested. I can't tell you, even in my own testimony, it was through the power of God's presence in a worship setting that God brought me to repentance and got me saved. So I would say that this is the time to experience the manifest power of God, to not just his presence, because where God is, there with his presence is, his power is there also, right? And, there's amazing things that have happened. Like I said, I've experienced personally such deep inner healing and deliverance just from being in the presence of God. Things that I never thought that I would cast off. Cares that I thought were so burdensome that they would kill me. Yet still, in the midst of it all, just experience the presence of God. I was able to shed those woes. And it's such an amazing, and it's a source of hope. In our passage, we see that King David, the king who was after God's own heart, and even broader times in the Psalms ultimately than just this passage, he enters into God's presence in his circumstances. And he goes there for hope and for help, for healing and for correction. And God answers and meets him in that place. And so I want to say that one thing that's so amazing about worship is it is a place, when we're in a place of worship, when we're in a lifestyle and a heart posture of worship, that is a place where God can meet us. So my challenge this week would be that we would not be a people who just worship at the door, so to speak, but that we would come expectantly into worship, expecting to experience the presence of a very living and real God who wants a relationship with us, who's here for us, who is ready to meet us where we're at. Let's enter into his presence through worship.